Huh.
You gotta
Well,
put
it's a public forum, are we
two
gonna,
by two
and our
stick in
lawyer,
it.
Yeah.
are we gonna be in trouble?
Should I prop it open?
I think that would be a safer bet,
Just like
just in
the trash
case.
can?
Yeah.
You know,
I think-
Rick's here, but that doesn't mean anything.
Where
I
should
resemble that remark.
That's good. I like that Rick's here.
Actually, we were talking about who's missing, and
I'll just prop
the
this.
lady walked up and filled the quorum, and you even showed up. We was kinda surprised.
I was sitting out in the car. I wasn't gonna stand there and freeze with you guys. I'm the one that called her and said the door's locked. Those
The
guys
door's
look like
locked.
they're freezing.
Whitney?
Yeah, I called Whitney, yeah. That's why you guys aren't still standing there. And then by the
Just
time-
in case somebody's at the door, we'll wait a few moments. What's that?
I said, then by the time I got to the door, it was closed and locked again. I felt insulted.
You are interesting. Good evening. Welcome to the Warsaw Board of Zoning Appeals on April 25. Approval of the minutes.
Well, Mr. President, I have read the minutes, and if there are no further questions or comments, I'd move to approve.
So moved, seconded by Dan. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone in opposition? Any unfinished business? Becca?
None.
All right, we'll start the new business of the evening. For the audience, we are combining items 04-3, -4, -6, -7, and -8, which I think is all KCH, correct? All right. First item on the agenda, 220401, 3690 Commerce Drive. Becca?
The petitioners requested a variance from development standards to use gravel as a parking surface, and Article 13 states that parking areas shall be a finished hard surface. The property is located at 3690 Commerce Drive and is located within the C5 Commercial District. It is surrounded by commercial and residential uses, including large retailers and a mobile home park. The parcel is tucked behind other commercial businesses and is not visible from main arterial roads. This property is unique in that it contains steep slopes that grade into wetlands. If this request is approved, the petitioner will need to contact the state of Indiana to comply with any guidelines if the wetland is regulated by the state. After checking with Warsaw Stormwater, there are no other concerns regarding a gravel parking area near these wetlands. Due to the parcel being tucked behind other commercial uses, the planning department suggests that the board look favorably upon this request when delineated with the findings of facts.
Thank you, Becca. Before we open it to the public, are there any questions?
I do. Becca, are you reasonably comfortable that this is distinctive enough? We're not going to be inundated about how me too, how about me? I want a gravel driveway too for my business.
Yes, because of how it's tucked back away from the main roads.
Okay, so that's our,
Fallback?
fallback position.
It's our trump card.
Yeah, well, we need something.
Any other questions or comments? Is there anyone possibly in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this petition?
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh. I really did.
Matter of fact, there is. Steve Snyder on behalf of the petitioner. Are we hearing both of these at the same time?
No, these are separate. So the
Okay.
first one is the gravel parking area.
Okay. I handed out to you the aerial photo showing the location of the tract on which the proposed use is, and attached to it is a survey with some highlighted areas in yellow. Those yellow areas would be the area of gravel as opposed to asphalt pavement. One of the situations that is pretty common around Warsaw and Kosciuszko County is that rental storage warehouses do not have paved surface parking and access areas within the confines of the project itself. This one will have a paved driveway and a paved parking and access area where the office facility is shown. But when you get into the area of the structure itself, the plan is to have crushed stone reasonably well maintained, because that's what customers require, but without the expense or the maintenance cost of an asphalt or concrete parking area. One of the concerns, of course, with any type of impervious surface is what happens to the drainage. And you'll see on the site plan, there's a large retention area off to the southeast of the proposed buildings. That entire area, or the entire project, is more than 200 feet from the wetland area. That wetland area has been delineated by an expert, so we know exactly what its boundaries are, and this project is located far enough away to avoid any effect on those wetlands, whether it's an asphalt or a crushed stone parking area and driveway. We're asking for the approval of that variance, one, to be similar to our competitors, and two, to reduce the maintenance costs that go along with a significant area of asphalt. And although there's still surface water runoff from a gravel surface, it's going to have a certain amount of absorption, and asphalt has none. So we're hopefully reducing the runoff slightly by that graveled surface.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Looks like we have that part covered so far. Thank you. Anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of this petition? Anyone in opposition? Closed to the public.
Steve, I'm sorry, what goes in the panhandle on this diagram? Just there?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Okay, that's just
It's just the
open.
way the parcel is.
Okay,
The parcel was that way. This was a parcel, the current owner purchased the tax map a long
so
time ago.
most of the buildings is gonna be right in
The
here?
buildings will be right here. This is all wetland back here.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
gonna
so
say,
just in the
it's not
green
delineated, but that's wetland, right?
If you look at the site plan. you
Yeah,
pretty
I was
much
trying to
see-
figure if there was more over there that I couldn't see, but now you explained it's all wetlands there. Okay.
Thank you. And I assume the mailing went out on this?
Yes,
No comments?
correct.
And the city engineer has approved all of the drainage. Usually that's the key item in it. Okay, very good. Well, with no one in opposition, any other questions or comments?
Time to step up there.
Yeah, Mr. President, I'm going to make a motion to go ahead and approve this, whatever we are, 2022-0401.
Motion? Seconded, Jeff? All those in favor? Aye. Anyone in opposition? That carries unanimously. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I think you're going to be right back up again if I got this
That's
right.
why I didn't sit down.
Back up.
All right, the petitioner has requested a use variance to allow rental storage warehouses within a C5 commercial district. The petitioner plans to build 7 separate buildings for indoor rental storage on the parcel located at 3690 Commerce Drive. This parcel is mostly surrounded by C3 and C5 commercial districts, as well as the Village Mobile Home Park and some county residences. Large retailers like Dollar Tree and RP Home and Harvest border the property. The parcel is tucked behind other commercial businesses, and if allowed, the warehousing will be hidden from main arterial roads. Because the property is mostly hidden from large roads, the planning department suggests the board view this request favorably when delineated with the findings of facts.
And again, there was a mailing on this one. And no comments?
Correct.
Very good. Any questions or comments before we open it to the public? Is there anyone in favor of this petition that would like to speak?
Yes, Steve Snyder on behalf of the petitioner.
And by the way, just for a point of order, this is 040222. Make sure we're all on the same page.
Maybe we have the cart before the horse, but we now have a gravel parking lot approved, but we need something to go around it. And that would be rental storage warehouses. Again, the parcel that this is to be placed on is on the aerial map I handed out. The site plan is the second page, the large page, which shows the location of the 7 buildings, shows the area of fencing, access. Current access is actually right up against the Dollar Tree store. I always get the dollars mixed up. But the Dollar Tree store access, we're in the process of asking them to relocate it further away from the building for the protection of their customers and for the protection of people accessing the proposed storage warehouse. Haven't had a response yet, but we have access one way or the other. This one appears to be better, the one that's shown on the plan, than the easement that's shown on the plan, which is right up against the building. So that's the first step. The building layout was engineered by Kevin Michael at Walker & Associates, along with the detention area to capture the surface water that runs from the east 2/3 of the property. There is no way to capture any surface water runoff from the west 1/3 because of the slope of the land and the ditch or drainage ditch that runs right along there. The surface water from that portion of the project will surface drain directly into that ditch. Now, the ditch is nice because it is partially in the wetlands. There is a filter or self-filter there. And secondly, what does run off from this project isn't going to have any contaminants. First of all, the covenants that lessees sign prohibit any hazardous materials in the site. And secondly, there's no outside storage permitted, so there's not going to be any runoff from any vehicles sitting outside or anything stored in containers outside because there is no outside storage permitted. As I indicated earlier, the entrance is asphalt and concrete. To give you an idea of what the buildings appear to be, I attached a photo of some of 3JM's current buildings, showing you that there is an entrance area where there will be an office. It will be gated, automatic entry with the proper access code or access card. The type of buildings, again, shown in the photograph, they are high-end storage warehouse buildings, well-maintained, and that's the plan for this project, exactly the same. From the standpoint of looking at it, whether you consider it a use variance or an exception, there's nothing dangerous about the property. We have adequate access off Commerce Drive. I lived with Commerce Drive for a number of years trying to get it rehabbed and accepted into the city maintenance system. That finally happened. That probably prevented, to my own credit, a number of bent rims. But be that as it may, storage warehouses tend to have a very low volume of traffic. Even the number of buildings and units that would be here, people aren't in and out of them every day. I've seen statistics where the access to it is at most once a month.
Is that what your concern was in the beginning when you talked about access and Dollar Tree? Was that the concern, is the amount of traffic?
Well, we don't anticipate a high volume of
No,
traffic.
I would agree with that.
But there may be traffic pulling trailers, and we think it's better off if they can be further away from that Dollar Tree building than right up against it. So we'll see if Dollar Tree agrees with us, but either way, we have access onto Commerce Drive. Commerce Drive is a well-improved, well-maintained road now.
Yeah.
And it does have access directly onto US 30 at stoplights. So traffic congestion is not an issue and access is not an issue. Will probably have a positive effect on values. One, it's a pretty passive use compared to the adjacent uses. And two, as the staff report indicated, it's tucked away. It's behind a couple big boxes, and off the corner, it's not going to be highly visible, although the owner will want it reasonably visible so people can find it and rent units. But that will be taken care of with directional signs, and they will certainly be visible from Commerce Drive. It will be sited, oriented, and landscaped to be compatible with the adjacent uses. Again, we have a couple big boxes there that don't have a significant amount of landscaping, and will probably be doing better than what they do. Uses are compatible. We have a pretty high-volume commercial use in that area. This will be a low-volume commercial use, but is compatible with what's there. We have made adequate controls for traffic. There will be significant queuing distance in case there would be a lineup of cars waiting to get in through the restricted gate access. The
Is that going to be
entire,
is that a pad? You're going to have a gate access with a keypad?
right,
Okay.
either a keypad or a card or a code, but something that restricts access. And security will be significant. Lighting is anticipated to be only that necessary to allow people to see if they're coming at night. In other words, some form of downlighting so that we're not lighting the night sky.
Focused on the internal area.
Yeah, that's what
Right.
I was wondering.
But even if we didn't, even if we had wall packs, it probably wouldn't be much different than the adjacent lighting. But this is intended to not enhance that light up the sky stuff that's out there now. In addition, again, well-maintained appearance, that's what it takes in this competitive area to secure the customers you need to make the whole project work.
Steve, just as, I guess out of curiosity, are we considered underserved as far as storage capacity here in this area?
Depends on who you talk to. As you can tell, there is continual construction, and as a result, there is a demand for those being constructed. So are we underserved? Probably. As long as they keep building them and they keep coming, then we're underserved. Whether we reach that level where it's not underserved and not overserved, I guess we'll find out.
Okay.
But right now, everything that gets built fills up.
Okay.
If you build it, they will come.
That's right.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak in favor of this? Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak in opposition of the petition? Thank you. Closed to the public.
As I recall, there was a church trying to go on this property some time ago.
Wasn't that long ago, something to do with a liquor store, if I remember correctly.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And the backstory is that the church couldn't be close to the liquor store, but the storage area probably has no problem with that issue.
No.
I think he's addressed the concerns that I had, the access and flow are gonna be minimal.
And lighting, I was concerned about that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, again, are you ready?
yes.
I'm going to make a motion. Let's approve 2022-0402.
Second.
So, seconded by Dan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in opposition? That carries unanimously as well. Thank you,
Steve.
Counselor.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay, we'll move on to the remaining unfinished business, and I think this is where we start some of the consolidation. Is that correct, Becca?
Yes.
What are you going to do? Just read one?
So my plan is I'll read the case number, I'll give a one-sentence description of what that case number is asking. Once I get through all of them, I'll give a brief description of the campus and the site, and then make my recommendation.
Okay.
Sounds excellent.
All right, so 2022-0403. The petitioner has requested a variance from development standards to construct 3 signs that are maximum 9 1/3 feet tall with 74 square feet of display area. For 2022-0404, the petitioner has requested a variance from development standards to allow one sign with an increase in height and sign display area. The proposed sign is 13.6 feet in height and contains 87.75 square feet of display area. For 2022-0406, the petitioner has requested a variance from development standards to allow a total of 4 signs on a single parcel with a maximum height of 13.5 feet with 87.75 square feet of display area. 2022-0407. The petitioner has requested a variance from development standards to allow a total of 2 signs on a single parcel with a maximum height of 13.5 feet with 84.4 square feet of display area. Here's my 8.
What do you need?
And 2022-0408, the petitioner has requested a variance from development standards to allow 1 sign that will be 9 feet tall and display 49.5 square feet of signage.
I assume that there is a sign or a similar structure in each of these locations or nearby.
Yes, they're
Okay.
upgrading their signs.
They're basically upgrading and replacing. Now, how much bigger are the signs than what's already up there? Is there a great change there?
It depends on the sign.
Okay.
Some of them are taller, quite taller.
Yeah.
And I'm going to speak as an assumptive here, though, that it's going to be easier to read, so the traffic will
Yes.
be enhanced by these changes.
So
Okay.
Dan can find his way when he goes to the hospital.
You know, it's grown exponentially over the years, and
As
a testament to its success, but yes, that's been an issue. Mailing went out,
Yes,
no negatives, no contact to the planning department.
correct.
Anyone in the audience would like to speak in favor of? Anyone in opposition? Oh, sorry.
I need to
Good
get my
evening, Mr.
recommendation.
President.
Oh, I'm sorry. Tom, my fault, my bad. You didn't give your one-sentence recommendation.
I did not.
Thank you for catching that, Becky.
You're welcome. Based on the nature of the hospital campus and the information provided, it is the opinion of the planning department that the board view these requests favorably.
Thank you. Now, is there anyone who'd like to speak in favor?
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. My name is Tom Trent with the Rothberg Law Firm in Fort Wayne. I was here 1 month ago, and I was thinking that not only was I here 1 month ago, but I actually wore the exact same suit and tie and shirt. So
The members of the press noted that, by the way.
Well, good to be with you again, and I don't think I have a lot to add. I think the staff's report embodies the intent of the evening. Real quickly, as you, I think, all know, the hospital is a real asset to the community, and yet its wayfinding signage is way behind the times. So the intent tonight is part of a broader initiative to modernize the campus. And so we put forth a number of development standard requests to enhance the quality of the signage. And just in a few words, there's nothing about quality signage that would affect the public health, safety, morals, or general welfare of the community, nor would the proposed signage have any effect on value. The lion's share of the properties in the vicinity of the hospital are owned by the hospital. And in complete candor, the proposed signage are such a substantial upgrade that if there's any effect on value, it would be positive. I looked at your comprehensive plan and was not able to find any guidance on signage, so my presumption is that the sign package before you is consistent with good planning and an overall benefit to the community. Thank you so much for the approval last month, and it's nice to be here again this evening. Thank you.
Yeah, the signage committee was formed after the comprehensive plan, which
Okay.
is why that's not included. All right, because Rick and I were on the signage
Okay.
committee. All right.
Well, you have a very good quality sign ordinance. It's very easy to read, and the rules are crystal clear. So compliments to the individuals that were instrumental in drafting the sign ordinance.
Illumination of the signs is going to be,
It would be
Internal.
sharp cutoff lights to the extent they're downward facing, and I guess I don't know the actual,
it'll light up the sign and not the neighborhood.
I don't think there's any concern about spillage
Well,
into.
I want to make sure everybody can read it at
Yeah.
night, because there is an
Well-
emergency room that gets callers at odd hours.
The emergency room sign right now, I just drove by it on the way in, is in need of a substantial upgrade. And in looking at what's proposed, I would say that a mission accomplished.
Very good.
It's only valid if you can follow the lines on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, with that, is there any questions for our counselor? Okay.
I agree the signage needs to be updated.
Oh, yeah.
I was out there just today. I'd even paint those lines again.
And I would be remiss and not to introduce Denton Park, who is the new interim CEO of the hospital, and he is new to the community within the last 3 weeks.
Wow.
So it's nice to have him here representing the hospital, which, as you all know, is a great community asset. I believe it employs in excess of 900 individuals in the community.
This is just a comment, but I like the subdued colors too. It's not a garish red of those emergency, but it's very,
Yeah.
it strikes me as tasteful blue with white.
So the hospital engaged a very polished sign company out of Nashville, Tennessee, that put forth the renderings in front of you, and I agree they are high quality.
Well, in his 3 weeks, he's well done. That's a good start, sir. You had nothing to do with it. Take the compliment. It doesn't matter.
Well, pay him enough so he can buy a new suit and get another suit to wear.
Yeah. No, this is his Monday suit. You
It
know.
happened under your administration, so.
The only reason I knew that I had the suit on is because one of the gentlemen here had taken a picture of me, and it was on my LinkedIn account somehow or another, and I was just looking at it, and I'm not kidding you, I am wearing the exact same thing.
Well, you must like it.
I must like it.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Great to see you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Is there anyone else that would like to speak in favor of? Anyone in opposition in the audience? Closed to the public. Well, in all, in spite of the banter, I think it's wonderful. This is well needed, and I live about 5 houses from where they're gonna put all these bloody things. And I think it's great. So
I'd make a motion, we approve this.
Yeah.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone in opposition? So, items 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8 were approved unanimously. I think that leaves 5, right?
Yep.
Thanks again. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Wait,
Welcome to the community, sir.
hey,
Tom?
there's still one more.
Oh.
Case 5 is directional.
You guys can't just escape out the door.
I was,
You're trying.
thank you, Wendy, because Becca was ringing in my ear with I told you that was separate. We couldn't do 5 with all the other ones, because it's in a different spot.
Okay, just as a quick, are you gonna hand us a sheet for that? Because it's not in any of these that you gave us.
5 is not in there.
5 is not in there.
It should be the last one.
Yeah.
Materials I gave back, there should be a total of 6,
Yeah, Rick, mine's the last one.
and it should be the last one in that packet.
I'm sorry, you're right, I'm wrong. Okay, thank you.
All right, with that, Becca, would you give us the facts of the case for 04/05/2022?
The petitioner has requested a variance from development standards to allow larger than permitted directional signs on 2 parcels of their campus. The parcels are located at 1210 Provident Drive and 2101 DuBois Drive. The directional signs are 5 feet tall with 15 square feet of display area. These parcels are part of the campus for Kosciuszko Community Hospital and are surrounded on most sides by other M1 medical zoning and US 30. Due to the nature of medical campuses, larger signs are typically necessary to help with wayfinding and directions. Based on the nature of the hospital campus and the information provided, it is the opinion of the planning department that the board view this request favorably.
Thank you, Becca. Any questions before we open it to the public?
No.
Thank you. Again, Tom, I assume you're going to speak
I
in
will.
favor of this?
I will incorporate by reference the clumsy testimony that I offered in the last public hearing, and just
Just leave the suit and tie out of it.
there you go.
We'll be fine.
And just request your approval for the same reasons that I articulated a few moments ago. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, I think we can get to closure of this evening's discussions, unless someone has other comments or questions or concerns.
I'll make a motion, we accept or approve.
Item 04/05/2022.
Yep.
So moved, seconded by Dan. All those in favor? Aye. Anyone in opposition? That carries. Now, gentlemen, you can,
See you all.
Okay.
welcome to the community again. All right, I believe that's all the
Make
items.
a
that-
motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We stand in adjournment.
Okay, nice.
Well, thank you all. I always
We're gonna start having
dislike the fact
items on
that
the
it,
agenda from now on. We are done.